For this new lesson, we'll be making this beanie. So it's very easy. That's just it. It's a very easy headwear to make. There'll be no much stress. I'll just be showing you the most important points, because at this stage I believe you should understand when I'm mentioning some stitch. When I say make this stitch, make that stitch, you should know all those things at this point. Don't panic, it's not any big deal. So let's move on to the first thing, which is making 60 chains. And okay, just making 61 chains, because we're working with 60. The one extra is just for us to turn to the next row. So that's our first chain. Pass it through the loop. So go ahead to make 59 more or 60 more. Okay, so see you at the end of this chain, this row. At the end of the chain of the 61, we'll be making 10 slip stitches. Okay, as I just made this first one, move to the next. You insert in the center, you pull up a loop, then you pull through. You remember that now, the slip stitch. So we are making 10. You may be asking why we are doing a slip stitch in that cap. You need not to be doing all through, but just follow me. At the end of maybe 3 or 4, I think you will get an idea of why we are making this slip stitch at the top. So make sure you count to keep records, so you will not, because if your work is uneven, as I've mentioned before, you would not like it. So always make sure that you are counting. Make sure you are counting. Don't ever assume a number. Always count, measure, whatever it does. What makes your work look neat. So we are done with that. We move to making single crochet. So you pull up and pull through. So you insert, you pull up, yarn over and pull through. Yes, that is the difference between a single crochet and a slip stitch. There's a yarn over. Yes, yarn over, you pull through. So you see the height difference. You keep doing that to the end of this. This is our first official row. So at the end of this row, you should have 50 plus the 10 slips, that is 60. So that's why it should be counted. So if at any point you notice that it's looking shorter in the chains, you know that you're able to find where the problem is from. You can make use of stitch markers too to help you. So at the end, you chain 1 and you turn. Then we will be making our single crochet on the back loop only. Back loop. I've already worked some extent. I'm sorry I didn't record that, but I'm using a stitch marker to mark every point so that I won't make a mistake. I've been making crochet materials for years now, but I still make use of stitch markers because I know that I can never be too perfect. The day I'll decide to drop it, something always go wrong. So it's better is there a nuisance, but my work is neat, than to remove the stitch marker, especially when I'm making long chains. My work is as long as this. I make use of stitch markers to be able to indicate. So I'm marking every 10 to 15 points. 10 points, every 10 points I'm putting a stitch marker. I don't know how many you want to do. Something I can easily look at a glance and you tell it's complete. So we'll be making that on the back loop alone. If you're looking at it, see it's on the back loop. Please don't forget, on the back loop only. That is what is going to bring out the pattern that we are working on. If you're not doing the back loop, it will just be a straight head beanie, but want to give that high and low feel. Do you get? Okay. Now you'll be making 5 slip stitch. 5. It may be hard to insert, so you can just turn your hook and pull up the way I'm just doing now. So we'll be making only 5, not 10. Yes, it will be half. That is the idea about it. We are trying to make our top part of the hat. I don't know how well to explain to you, but if you keep working on it, you will be able to see what I'm talking about. Now we'll be making 5 again back. We are trying to reduce the width of the top side as though we are closing the bag. Then you'll be increasing your hand, and then we have the body, the top of the bag, the crown. That is the other half we did not touch. The part we're working on is like the neck of the cap, and the part that we are doing our single crochet is the body of the cap. I hope you are getting the sequence. So from fattest exactly. Now we'll be making 50 single crochet. Pull up. Okay. After that, make sure you mark the points where your slip stitch is ending. If you're not marking it, it's easy to mix up both of the lines, and then you'll be having variations at each row. So always indicate with a marker. Even if you don't indicate in the body of the work you are doing, at least indicate the difference between the part you are working on in single crochet and the part you are working on the slip stitch. So after making 50 single crochets, coming back up on this row, we will come back here. I mentioned I'll not be going into repeating some information, so that is why. Forgive me for that, but instead of repeating that, you just make chain 1, 50 crochets, and meet us up here. Then you make 5 slip stitch, and okay, it's 10. Sorry, 10. After making 5, you then move to the first half. That part we did not touch before is 5. Then move down to count it, to start from there, not to count, to continue from there. That same part facing up, not the side but the part facing up. You can see where we ended the first one before, so you move to the next one and you continue from there, and you go up to the top. That will have 10 slip stitch. Now we turn and we work 10 slip stitches on the 10 that we have. Make sure that you are doing it on the part facing up, on the side of the yarn facing up. So you do it 10 to the point that I have marked. That is why that marker is there, because in case you forget to chain 1 and you turned, you will notice by the time you do it to that point, you'll count it to realize that your work is not complete. You know that place is the point. You'll not end up adding into the part for the 50 single crochets. So it's important to mark your work. And the last one, so you mark it again and you move onto making the single crochet. You insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, and you pull through. That is the single crochet, the neatest and the easiest of all crochet stitch to make. So we'll be making 50 of them down to the last part. So we'll keep repeating this pattern back and forth, back and forth. 50 single crochets and 10 slip stitch. Going back again, 10 and 50. When you come back, you then do half. Just like now, we are coming back again now. So we'll make half, that is 5 slip stitches, not 10 again. So when you come to the slip stitch, if you make 10 up, 10 down, then if you come back up again, it's 5 and 5 down. Do you understand? 10 up, 10 down, 5 up, 5 down. That's what we'll be doing, so that it will be the cap will be closing evenly and not haggard. Like, it will be looking neat, and when you close it, it will look like a very neat work that was made with a machine. And back again, make 5 slip stitch and then 50 single crochets. So this is what to just keep repeating back and forth until you get to the particular width you want. There is nothing hard about it. This is the easiest pattern so far in this class I've given. Yes, this is the easiest project you have done. I think we should have even started with this. It's much easier. Okay, let's not say it's easier than the ruffled hat. The ruffled hat is way easier, but this is the easiest complicated style I could find online on making a hairstyle. Yes, because I wanted to teach people 3 different hairstyles. I've done the ruffled hat, I've done the other type of beanie that was starting from the bottom to the top. This is from side to side. Then there's one that has to do with top to bottom. I don't like teaching that because that comes with a lot of complication, and I've not really mastered it myself. That is actually a part of the reasons, because it's tricky. You need to be accurate. You need to be sure of the size of the person's head, like the circumference of the head, before you start coming down. Although many people use 9 inches to measure that, but in the case where I want it to be triangular, you see, it's actually much difficult to be able to determine. So it's better to start from bottom up or from side to side, as in this case. So that's why I'll be working with only these 3 hats. From these 3 hats, you can diversify to any other pattern you want, any other style you want. You can even mix in some patterns in this. This is just basic teaching. If I get another pattern, or when I make another one, I will compile it and then put it up for sale on Seller, so you can get and buy the patterns there. Ta-da! Okay, for my own, I went back and forth about 80 times because I wanted it to be a bit loose. in case I made my hair, it can just snuggle in. You get that feeling? So we remove every marker. We don't need the markers at this point. Again, we are closing up our cap. The cap. You insert, in this case now we're making slip stitch from top to bottom. That's what we'll be using to close it up. So you will insert your hook at the back loop, just as I've been doing all along, at the back loop of the one closest to you, as I'm doing, and then you insert it into the end of the other one, like the front of the other one, of the back side, the place you started with. You yarn over, pull through both of them. It's just the same way you make your slip stitches, not anything different, and then you pull up. So this is why it's important for you to have a consistent number from start to finish, because if our numbers are not equal, it will show here at this end. Because by the time you're joining from one point to the other, one point to the other, you see that one stitch will be left, or maybe two stitches will be left hanging, and then you'll be looking for a way to now patch up that last one. You get? So from this end to the other end, from this end, okay, I think that this is going to be a bit difficult. Just try to be careful so you won't spoil your work while doing this, because it's a bit tricky. But once you have gone past this slip stitch point, the other parts of the body of the hat is much easier to do. You insert at this top, then you go to the back and pick up the loop there and pass it through the loop there. You can use your fingers to make it easier for you. You pull it up and then you pull through. That's what we'll be doing in this case. So you just watch carefully. I keep following just as I'm doing it. If you don't understand, you replay it over and over again. There's nothing special about this part. It's just to slip stitch what you have been doing before already. You do it now and close up the cap. At the end, you just chain one and you cut. I don't have my scissors here. I'm actually making this at my workplace, so I didn't bring my scissors. I didn't bring my needle. I didn't bring any of my crochet set. So we'll just be improvising here. But here, just cut your yarn. You'll be wondering why I'm having two different colors or two different types of yarn. I ran out of yarn. So I don't have one pattern alone with me. So just use one color so your own, you can wear it and go somewhere. I can only wear this to a video. To close it up, you need a needle, as I mentioned. It's better to use a needle. It's less stressful. Just insert back and forth and make sure it's tight. But since I don't have a needle, and some of you that will be part of this class may not have a crochet needle at this point, so you can just do what I'm doing. You hold it one end, you pull through, and you pull up. You insert your hook, you pull up a yarn, then you pull through like you're making a slip stitch. You insert it again, you yarn over the hook. It's just repeating that. It's not must follow exactly the same spot by spot. Just make sure that it is tight and neat in a way that is not going to show in the other side by the time we turn the front. Do you get? Yes, that's just the idea behind it. There's no pattern behind closing the head of the crown of your beanie or your cap. Okay, this is how mine looks on me. So I would love to see yours as well. Just post the picture of yours on the Telegram page. Let's all share and see how our works have been so far.